You unlock this door with a key of imagination. Beyond it is another universe, a universe of sound, a universe of sight, a universe of mind. You're moving into a universe of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You just crossed over into the cryptoverse. What's up, my fellow cryptonauts? I hope all is well for you today in the cryptoverse. What I'm making this video about right now is this structure here. This guy right here. My last video I made was, I'm basically going to say the same thing I said in my last video. The last video I made was like right here in this circle. And I was saying it could be the Batman top. Now, when I say Batman, it's just kind of a cool word to say. What I was saying over here is that this was likely going. Now, everything to the right of my cursor was not there when I made the video. A few hours after I made the video, it did basically exactly what I said it was going to do. I kind of thought it would come back up here and then kind of do one of these, but I didn't want to speculate too far out. And in that video, I did say that it was likely if it came down, it could bounce off the 89,000 Fibonacci level, and that's right here. That bounced exactly off that. I've closed down my long right now, right here, right now. For those of you that watch my channel, you know that I'm always long and short for the most part. This is very similar. This is very similar right here and right here. It's very similar. What I notice is the rapid push. Now this one kind of took a break through here a little bit, but it was still had upward momentum, and that's still a pretty rapid push all the way from 89,000 to 97,200 area. That's 80. That's over $8,000 push in less than 24 hours. So this very well could be another Batman top. Now over here on the left, it wasn't a true Batman. A Batman would have put in an ear here and then came back down. And, it would look like the Batman silhouette. But that's just what I call it. That was kind of a double top, and then it just kind of faded, and then boom, and rapid. So if this happens, it's likely to be rapid. So maybe it takes a break here and then boom, right? It could be coming back down. Now it doesn't have to come back down. I think the probability of it coming back down is pretty good, but it only might come down to this level here. See this where it took a break on the way up at about 94,900. You could say the 95,000 area, give or take a couple hundred. I wouldn't be surprised if it does something like boom and pretty rapid, and then from here I'm not sure, but it kind of looks like it might want to just go boom. Right? This is almost, at that point, I don't want to say a head and shoulders, but it's kind of got this little lumpy here, and then it's putting in a big head, and then if it comes back down here, boom, watch out for this. Boom. But it's just that similar thing, and this is something Bitcoin does over and over, and it triggers my memory, it triggers my brain when I see the rapid pushes. What it is, it's a rapid push. This one here, 1, 2, 3 hours, 3-hour push, boom, and this one here is not quite that quick. Although just recently, this last push up here, that's a 2-hour push, and that's pretty substantial. The second level of this, and down here it was just a couple hours up there, and it kind of took this break. So it's a little different where it took the break, but you can see what I'm saying. I'm out of my long. My short is open at 97,200. I closed down my long. I added to my short, and I did this in little increments. And now this could pump. This could just be a consolidation. It's kind of, let's zoom in on this actually. This has a little bit of upward momentum to it at this point. This could be just a consolidation that has another up to it. I've drawn in this blue trend line above, as you can see. Now this only has 2 data points, but I've connected. Yeah, this is the all-time high up here. See that? Go to the right. I've connected that with this last local top where I made my last video, or the area where I made last video. And now it only has 2 data points, and technically you need 3, but it's something to watch. This could pump up. If it does pump up from here, if this is a consolidation, and then boom, I think that's going to be real strong resistance. See that white horizontal line? That's 100,000. Now that hasn't been on my chart. That hasn't been a super. It's not a super duper support resistance line. Although there is mainly it's been resistance, not a whole lot of support there. But it's not great. I wouldn't have that on my chart if it wasn't. I'm just marking 100,000. But it's clearly been resistance in the past. You can see here, kind of here, and then way back here in November 21st, 22nd. Didn't quite make it up there. On the way down, it really hasn't served as exact support at all. So, but it has been resistance, and it's interesting position now, right? That trend line intersects with the $100,000 white line. If it pumps, I would watch for that to be resistance. Maybe it tries to come. I don't think so. That could be. Keep an eye on that blue trend line. So this was a pretty irresponsible push. We're kind of facing, overall sentiment for Bitcoin isn't all that great right now, which is when a push happens. But to go from 89,000 to 97.2 that rapidly suggests to me it's a fairly irresponsible push, and it's probably led by big traders. And just as I said in my last video, about 3/4 of the way through this consolidation here, I said what's probably going on is the big whale traders, the shark traders, the big players have put in long trades, and they pumped up the price. And what they're waiting for is they're waiting for mom and pop to stop. I got a cat meowing. They're waiting for mom and pop. They're waiting for Jack and Jill. They're waiting for you to stick in your third mortgage on your house, or when you sell your car so you can 10x Bitcoin long. That's what's going on here. They're waiting for the public. Most likely, they're waiting for the public. Tom, Dick, and Harry, and Jane, and Joanne, and probably Karen's probably going to get in. Karen will be the one calling congressmen, the senators, saying they stole their money. But that's what's going on. They are trying to steal your money, and they're probably waiting for the public to get in. Time to 10x long. I saw on social media Bitcoin set to go to $1 million, so I'm going to 10x long with my RA. I'm going to clean out my RA. I'm going to quit work. I'm going to retire, and I'm going to put all my money 10x long Bitcoin now, and I'm going to sit here and watch this happen. Boom! And it's all gone, and now I'm broke. That's basically what's probably going on there. So just watch out for that. I'm looking to add to my short, or I'm looking to reopen my long. I've added to my short here with my dry powder sitting. I'm going to wait and see if this comes back down. I'll watch the 94,700 to 95,000 level here. See what it wants to do. It could bounce from there. I wouldn't be surprised if it does a little zigging and zagging and a little shake and bake, and then continues coming back down to 92,000. I don't know if it's coming back down to 89. It could. And the thing about this is, let's zoom out. It'll probably be easier to see on the daily chart. Let's go to the daily. On the daily, in my last video, when I zoomed out, I said, oh, this pump here that I was talking about in my last video Actually, if you look at the daily chart, it kind of started down here around 92. And I said, watch out for it coming back 92. And the interesting thing is if it comes to 92, it's going to line up pretty well with them. I just go ahead and bounce off this purple Fibonacci line at 89. And that's go figure. That's exactly what happened. Now in that video, I also said there's a chance that, it possibly could pump up. I said it's 50-50 in my last video. It could go to 114 or it could go to 89, just as easy. I did favor the downside for sure, because that's why I made the video. Same reason I'm making the video now. I do think at some point there will be, this is a week, and it's probably a fake pump led by people who want to steal your money. And looking at this daily chart, let's get some of the scribble off here. Looking at the daily chart and the big picture, we could be dealing with this whole thing coming out, right? This could continue down to the next Fibonacci level. Now, if you look over on the left of my chart, I've got the Fibonacci retracement tool stuck over here from our last range, from the high to the low, and that's where I'm getting these purple Fibonacci lines. I've drawn in the purple lines on the Fibonacci levels over here. See that? And now this could come back down to 73,800 as the next Fibonacci. I love Fibonacci. I mean, I like Fibonacci. Fibonacci is something I trust. I don't use it a whole lot. But the reason I trust it is because it lines up with my own analysis that I've spotted over time, just recognizing patterns. And what am I looking at here? See where this pump starts here? It actually kind of starts down here at 68,000. So, it doesn't have to magically stop on the Fibonacci. It could wick down to 68,000. But there's kind of a consolidation here. See that? This is the daily chart. For a few days, it stalled out at about 75,000. But see this is a rapid pump. This is how I can start identifying. See that? That kind of structure tends to come back out at some point. Now it doesn't have to. Let me plug in my computer. If I let my computer die while I'm making a video, the whole thing will not be saved. So let's get that back on. Did I get it back on? Back on. Okay, so that very well could be in play. Watch out for this. Be prepared for this. Whether this pumps now up to that blue trend line, the $100,000 level, even if it does go up to 100,000 from right here, right now, 97 to 100, I would still look for the rejection from there and see what happens. Now, this whole thing is a new range up here, so very well price could just be stuck up there, and maybe it doesn't come down below 89 all that much. Maybe a wick down to 87 or something. But if it does break down, it's perfectly normal behavior for Bitcoin, right? That would be perfectly normal in the grand scheme of things, right? And the thing about it is, if it did come down here, that's where you want to long. This is where you want to mortgage your house and sell your car. Now, don't do that. But if you want to put in a big long bet, you want to wait for a big dump like that, and then because this is likely coming next, right? The pump off the dump. I don't know. My gut tells me just from watching this that there's probably more to the downside coming, but it doesn't have to do that. One other thing I want to say is back here in this range, this whole thing happened, I was always under the opinion that it kind of had a downside, a bearish tendency to it. Lots of people were saying it's stuck in a range and it's going flat, but it always had this characteristic to it, right? It always had a kind of a bullish pattern to it, and it wasn't really obvious until it continued setting new lows after new lows, and it's very similar. It's very similar to this range now. I almost feel like I'm watching the same range play out, and I kind of felt like that when it came down to here and put this low in, but it didn't break the previous low here on this big red wick here. But then on this most recent dump, when it came all the way down to that Fibonacci, That's a new low for that whole range. That's a new low for that range. So this is kind of feeling to me, it's kind of similar. Um, we'll see what happens. I wouldn't be surprised if there was another low coming below 89,000. I mean, there's kind of here. This range kind of basically started here, November 18th, November 19th, maybe a little before that. But this has a bit of the same feeling to it. Like it kind of feels kind of something like this could be going on. That blue trend line I have up there on top has got a slant down to it, and now that's a bullish pattern forming. At some point, this will eventually, most likely, will lead to the next pop, wherever that's to. I like 139,000 here, probably in the first quarter, second quarter of 2025. I really like 139,000. And from there, it's probably going to be looking at a couple years of just up and down, maybe 139 to 114, 139 to 100, 139 to 114. Maybe a wick up a little above 139, probably for a couple years, right? Whenever it gets up here, I think we're probably looking at this kind of stuff for a couple years, which is great for traders. But let's see, and that's about all I got to say. Let's go back to the hourly chart. I just want to show that to you. Well, it's up to 97.3 right now. So why did I sell at 97.2 when I first saw it go up there on this first green candle? Well, if you take this dotted line back to the left at 97.2, let's see. Why did I sell right away when it got up there? Because I thought it would stall there. Because if you go back to the left, there are some spots just based on experience of me watching this. There's one here. There's one here. I mean, on the dot, pretty much, right? There's one here. They're here, not necessarily on the dot, but kind of here, and there's also support, but a lot of resistance that have bounced off that or failed off that, and then basically a real nice support here, and kind of a resistance here, and earlier, or no, wait, but anyway, here's kind of a support. But I was looking at that, right, and see if it went past there, then you're dealing with these ones here. See this here? The 98,600 level would be one to watch. That correlates with here as well. See that? See how this fails out at 96,800, give or take? All right, there's a little range here that failed at 96,800, and there's more through here. Kind of one here. And then if it were to go up here, then you're talking about. I mean, that kind of seemed like a ridiculous pump to me, coming off 89,000, right? it gets overheated. It just becomes unrealistic at some point and not sustainable. So with that being said, I would think if this pump continued, watch the 98,600 area as a point where it would fail. And if it goes through there, then the 100,000, in my opinion, is going to be fairly tough to break right now, right here, right now, at this point in time. But let's see. Well, I kind of made this video a little longer than I wanted, but where are we at? No, it's 97.4. The Bitcoin's trying to make a fool out of me right now as I make the video. The last wick stopped at 97.8. So we'll see. But I wouldn't be surprised if this is Batman's right ear, even though it's not a good Batman. But yeah, there's a bit in there, right? And then kind of boom. I like the downside, folks, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and be safe out there. I'm waiting to I'm waiting to long at lower prices. I've added to my short. Now, what if I go cook dinner and I'm not watching and I miss a pump. Oh, I missed longing, man. I just missed out on a nice long. I had my long closed. Stupid. My long. Well, then you know what I'll do? I'll just add to my short. I'll add to my short up here because it's going to correct at some point. That's just how this works, right? All right. Be safe out there. I'm in hedge mode. I strongly suggest if you got some money to play with, you go and like right now wouldn't be a bad spot to do it. You might want to wait a minute to see if it comes down actually, but if it comes down, take $100 and open a long, and take $100 and open a short at the exact same spot, and then say you have another $800 dry powder, and just do an experiment and see how you'll start to see how it works, right? The positions protect each other, and then you keep plenty of dry powder. And I'm currently 3x on my short and my long. Although, if this were to come down hard right now, and I take profit on my short, if I can get out of my short and my long at the same time, I'm looking to go 4x, maybe 5x, because at 3x there's not quite enough action. But I don't want to get into that. And if you don't have a good feel for it, then obviously don't risk good money. But if you got $1,000, what I'd like you to do is wait and see what this consolidation is going to do, and see how that plays out. But at some point, if it comes down to like 94, if it comes down to this area here, 94,000, 95,000, open up a long for $100, open up a short for $100, keep your $800 dry powder, and in little tiny increments, add to your long, add to your short. Obviously, when you're in profit, close your positions, and you'll start to see how Wall Street makes their money. And at some point, you probably become wealthy if you look at this long enough. But I'm gonna get out of here. Later.